area of our county, which right now is hindered by our sewer capacity. CWR has a contract with the City of Rock Hill, and there's an initial capacity as well as the potential for initial capacity increase that is suitable for not only the current growth that we're experiencing, but also Albemarle coming in as well, which was a pretty heavy need with regard to sewer. Even though the connection's not being made tomorrow, because again, this is going to be a 3-year process, this will allow them to get shovels in the dirt. It will allow for continued application of federal, state funds. It will allow our delegation to continue to seek funds. And the goal really at the end of the day is for us to continue over the next 2 to 3 years in conjunction with CWR, and by supporting CWR is to seek those federal and state funds to the point where Chester County doesn't even have to contribute, nor does CWR have to go out and take out bonds. And again, to benefit the taxpayers, there's been really good conversation with our legislative delegation. And this is a tri-county regional deal that will benefit 3 counties. And you're looking at regional sewers, really what you're looking at. The big thing, and I know a lot of people, I'm probably doing too much of Philip's job right now, but I'm sure he'll appreciate the fact that what this will really do too is it's not a short-term fix of just adding capacity. This has the potential, and we have the potential in Chester County to for more capacity than we could have even if we built our own facility and doubled our current needs. And so that's a big deal, because when you're talking $100 million or $70 million or even 45 just to expand, this could potentially, you're going to have to do that with the type of growth that these guys have been bringing in. You'll probably have to do that every 5 to 10 years. And so this could potentially alleviate that as well in this area. But all the council is doing with their vote tonight is saying that you allow us to make sure that if all else fails, that we've got CWR's back with regard to making sure this gets done and that we get the sewer expansion that's needed. With regard to funding, you've given me the option to use any available source, whether that be funds that we already have in reserve, whether that be general revenue bond, or I'm sorry, a GO bond, or whether that be a revenue bond based on future fee and lieu streams. You've given me those options. And again, if it ever came to that, you give me up to $5 million. If at the end of the day CWR needs nothing, then Chester County doesn't have to put anything in if they get this funded through the delegations and so forth. At the end of the day, if I need $1 million, you've given me and the team the ability to figure out where that money would come from, and then I would come and give you the options of where that money would come from. Council would make the final decision where that money come from. That do enough?
Yeah. So would like to add to that the county does have funds from the American Rescue Plan, the ARPA, right? Is that it? That might be a potential funding source. Those are federal funds earmarked specifically for infrastructure. We have money that was earmarked for a spec building that we might could use that potentially. There are funds out there that we could use to support this that would not necessarily be from ad valorem taxes.
That's correct, Mr. Wilson, and I've held those funds sort of separately because, again, we have a project with Gallo going on, a sewer project where they're tying into Lancaster and Fort Lawn sewer, and we were fortunate enough that there was a RIA grant and a SCIP grant that paid for all but a portion of those projects. The county had committed up to $4 million. Right now, we're committed to $1 million with engineering costs for those projects. And then at the end of the day, I've got that money sitting as a backstop again over there in case there was cost overruns or potential for those. But again, that money, there's plenty of contingency over there on the, with the grant as well. That money is just a reserve amount.
One more thing, would you mind speaking to the federal and state money that's supporting this project and the amounts?
So that's a really good, so how this project is really getting funded, CWR has reserve cash that they're putting in. And it's a substantial amount. They also have the ability to take out a GEO bond in their bonding capacity, and so they're willing to do that as well. But there's also $30 million more dollars that has been put in from Department of Commerce and federal assistance as well. $10 million federal loan, two $10 million commerce grants on both sides of this project as well. City of Rock Hill is committed to adding some additional funding with the lift station across their line as well. So our delegation, I have to say I was very pleased with the response from our delegation, Department of Commerce, and the state with regard to helping us find a solution to this. And I think all the council members that were there at that meeting, of those that were there, what we walked out of that meeting with was that there's real support. It's just, you can't be guaranteed that money today, but over the next couple of years, there's real support from our delegation for this regional operation that's going on. And so I think that what our taxpayers are going to see is the fact that this gets funded through grants.
I'd like to say, I'd like to give credit where credit is due, so I'd also like to thank one of Chester's own homegrown House Representative John King, who actually represents Rock Hill, but he's actually from Chester, who actually spearheaded putting the state delegation together to get us to this point. So again, I'd like to thank him for the efforts that he made to get us to this point right here today.
I'd like to say one thing. I don't think all of them we've talked about here, it boils down to what we've suggested will not put any burden on the taxpayer in Chester County. It'd be available funds that we have or something, but it will not be any tax increase to fund this project if we have to put any money at all. So I think that's a viable, isn't that a true statement?
That's a true statement,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
I think this demonstrates the belief in Columbia and state of South Carolina that Chester is a growing place and they want us to continue growing. And we've got a lot of really powerful support.
All right, any further comment? Question? Hearing none, all in favor of Ms. Mosley's motion, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. Unanimous vote, so it be. All right, moving right along to council's comments. Do we have any council comments?
I want to comment about something that's going on in Great Falls as normal. And this is progress too, and I'm proud of it. Dearborn Street is being paved. We made a decision about, what,
How long you been,
18 months ago.
how long you been harking on that?
I worked hard. I
know 3 or 4
I kept
years.
running my mouth until Pete finally made a motion just to shut me up. But because number one mill building being torn down, we had to postpone it a little bit. But they have torn that street up and are in the process of doing that repaving job. And it's a huge project for Great Falls, very important for Great Falls. And I'd just like to thank my fellow councilmen for supporting that.
Happy for you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
We've got the North Chester grand opening that's going to be taking place. I think it's Saturday, April 6th from 10 to 1. So we
That's
definitely
the
want.
fire department.
The fire department, the new substation. So we definitely want to invite folks out to that. And
Thank
we'll talk about it again at the next meeting too. We'll have another council meeting before then, but we'd love to have a big crowd show up.
That also's been out there in the wings for a long time,
That-
come to fruition, so we're glad to see that come to fruition. Anybody else?
I'd just like to say, 2 days from now, Mr. Hester will be with us an entire year, so,
Ooh, March the
Send-
30th, I believe,
send-
wasn't it? What, March the 20th?
Yeah, March the 20th,
Congratulations.
so
You
send
made it through your
balloons.
first year.
Hard.
He's still got a very nice wife.
Still.
That's what they say, behind every good man's a good woman, a better woman.
That's right.
All right, anything else? If nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I need a second.